Hello friends, have you ever wondered if the stars are holding a secret map to your greatest potential? Imagine for a moment that every strength, every hidden gift, and every challenge you face could be traced back to your zodiac sign. What would that mean for the way you live your life? Today, we're diving deep into how each zodiac sign can unlock its true potential, because the universe isn't just watching you, it's rooting for you. Let's begin. Aries, the trailblazer. Aries, your fire burns brighter than most, and the truth is, that fire is not just a metaphor, it's your entire essence. You are ruled by Mars, the planet of war, energy, and raw ambition, which means you carry within you the force of 1,000 beginnings. You're the one who steps into a room and changes its atmosphere without saying a word, simply because your presence vibrates with urgency, passion, and intensity. You're the first sign of the zodiac, the cosmic child of spring, the spark that says, "Let there be life," after the silence of winter. And because of this, you are wired to start, to ignite, to leap before anyone else dares. But here's the paradox: that very strength can sometimes become your greatest challenge. You rush so quickly toward the next adventure that you forget to savor the one you're in. You win battles but sometimes forget what the war was really about. You arrive at the finish line before the race even feels like it started. And while others admire your speed, they often struggle to keep up, leaving you ahead, but alone. Have you ever felt that sting, that moment when you've conquered something incredible, only to realize no one is standing beside you to celebrate? That's the shadow of your gift. And yet, Aries, this is also the exact place where your greatest potential is hidden. Imagine this. Your fire, still burning hot but contained, directed, purposeful. Instead of scattering sparks everywhere, you learn to channel them into a flame that lights the path for others. Instead of exhausting yourself with 10 half-finished projects, you focus on one great mission, and you see it through. That is where patience comes in, not the boring, passive kind of patience, but the strategic kind, the patience of a warrior who knows the perfect moment to strike. Think of history's greatest leaders, the generals, the pioneers, the innovators. Many of them carried your Aries fire, but what separated the reckless ones from the legendary ones was timing. They didn't just act fast, they acted right. And that's the secret for you. Your potential is unlocked the moment you stop fighting against time and start dancing with it. Time isn't your enemy, it's your most powerful ally. When you learn this balance, you stop being just the fighter who charges into battle, and you become the commander who inspires armies. You stop being the lone wolf who rushes ahead and instead become the leader others choose to follow, not because they have to, but because they trust your vision. And trust me, Aries, there is no greater power than the loyalty of people who believe in your fire. So, how do you begin? By slowing down just enough to notice the opportunities you used to miss. By breathing before acting, by asking not just, "What do I want to do right now?" but also, "What will this mean tomorrow? Next year? 10 years from now?" This simple shift doesn't dim your passion, it elevates it. It makes every step you take not just fast, but meaningful. And when you unlock this version of yourself, you don't just start journeys, you complete them. You don't just burn bright, you burn steady, like a flame that never goes out. That's when you truly embody the name, the trailblazer. Not someone who just runs ahead into the unknown, but someone who clears the path so others can follow, someone who turns chaos into progress, someone who proves that fire, when harnessed, can light up the entire world. Taurus, the builder. Taurus, you are steady, reliable, and deeply connected to the beauty of the material world, but those words barely scratch the surface of who you truly are. You are ruled by Venus, the planet of love, art, and harmony, which means you don't just exist in the world, you feel it with every sense. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the taste of a perfect meal, the softness of music flowing through a quiet room, these are not passing pleasures for you. They are sacred reminders that life itself is a treasure worth savoring. Where others rush through moments, you hold them, cherish them, and weave them into something lasting. That's why you are called the builder, because you know that true beauty takes time, patience, and care. Your gift is in your stability. When the world shakes, you remain unshaken. When others give up, you keep working, slow and steady, until dreams are shaped into reality. You understand that the tallest tree grows from deep roots and that foundations must be strong before walls can rise. Your persistence is unmatched, and your ability to nurture what you've started until it blossoms is extraordinary. People lean on you because they sense your quiet strength, and even if they don't say it, they trust that you won't let them fall. But here lies the secret shadow. Comfort, for you, can quietly become a prison. Your love for safety, your craving for the familiar, and your desire for stability can sometimes keep you from reaching for more. You might find yourself staying in the same job, relationship, or routine not because it fulfills you, but because it feels safe. And though safety is precious, it is not the same as growth. Imagine planting seeds only in the same patch of soil year after year. Eventually, the earth grows tired, the plants weaken, and the harvest shrinks. That's what happens when you cling too tightly to comfort. Yet this is also the doorway to your highest potential. Your soul came here not only to build, but to expand. Your true strength is unlocked when you realize that change is not the enemy, it is the fertile ground you've been waiting for. Think of change as new soil for your seeds, rich with nutrients you've never tapped into. At first, it may feel uncertain, even threatening, to leave behind what you know. But once you take that leap, you discover how vast your garden can become. You stop building just for stability and start building for legacy. When you embrace change, you discover that your stability is not tied to a place, a job, or even a person. It lives inside you. It's in your patience, your persistence, your ability to hold steady no matter what storms rage outside. With this realization, you become fearless. You learn that no matter where life takes you, you can root yourself, grow, and thrive. And in that moment, your building power becomes limitless. Your potential, Taurus, is to transform from a guardian of comfort into a creator of worlds. You were meant to shape not only homes, families, or careers but entire visions of beauty and security that inspire others to believe in possibility. You can take chaos and organize it into order. You can take uncertainty and build stability from it. You can take a fleeting dream and anchor it into something so real, so tangible, that generations after you will thank you for laying the foundation. And the path to unlocking this is simpler than it seems. It starts with one courageous step outside of your comfort zone. Try a new direction, even if it feels risky. Trust that the same strength that allows you to build comfort will allow you to build anywhere. Instead of asking, "Will this be safe?" begin asking, "What can this become?" That shift alone turns your life from a routine into a masterpiece. When you step into this higher version of yourself, you are no longer just the builder of walls, gardens, or homes. You become the builder of futures. You create structures that are not only strong but meaningful, not only safe but inspiring. You move from protecting your comfort to creating abundance for yourself and for those around you. That is your destiny, Taurus, to prove that when patience meets courage, when stability meets growth, and when love meets vision, there is nothing in this world that cannot be built. Gemini, the messenger. Gemini, your gift is communication, and this is not a small statement, it's your very essence. Words are your wings, and conversations are the winds that lift you. You are ruled by Mercury, the planet of thought, expression, and quicksilver intelligence. This makes you the zodiac's storyteller, the one who can gather fragments of information, snippets of experience, and threads of knowledge and weave them into something that makes sense. Where others see chaos, you see patterns. Where others struggle to explain themselves, you give their thoughts a voice. And where silence would otherwise dominate, you fill the space with curiosity, laughter, and endless possibilities. But here's the fascinating paradox. Your brilliance often spreads itself too thin. Your mind is like a hummingbird, darting from flower to flower, collecting nectar but rarely staying long enough to build something enduring. You know a little about everything, which makes you endlessly fascinating, but at times you struggle to go deep. You start projects, conversations, and journeys, but distractions pull you away before the masterpiece can emerge. Your gift of versatility sometimes becomes a curse of fragmentation. Have you ever felt that your energy is scattered, that your brilliance is diluted simply because it is shining in too many directions at once? That is the challenge of Gemini. Yet within this challenge lies your greatest potential. Imagine, for a moment, what would happen if you chose not 10 voices, not 100 stories, but just one to amplify. Imagine if you gathered all that restless curiosity, all that infinite creativity, and pointed it in a single direction. The result would be extraordinary. You would not just be the messenger, passing along ideas from one place to another. You would become the message itself, the living embodiment of clarity, insight, and truth. Your potential is unlocked when you move from scattered communication to focused storytelling. When you stop fearing the commitment of depth and realize that true brilliance shines brightest when it has a container. Think of your words as water. When they spill everywhere, they make everything damp. But when they are channeled into a river, they carve valleys, shape landscapes, and move mountains. That is the power of your voice when you allow it to flow with direction. The world needs your wit, your charm, your ability to connect dots others cannot see. But more than that, the world needs your commitment to something greater than momentary distraction. You are meant to bridge gaps, between people, between cultures, between old ideas and new ones. You can carry wisdom across generations, translate truths into language that everyone understands, and inspire people to believe in something bigger than themselves. That is the sacred task of the messenger, not to chatter endlessly, but to deliver the words that change lives. And this begins when you give yourself permission to choose. To say, out of all the stories I could tell, this is the one I will give my heart to. When you do that, you transform your gift from fleeting entertainment into lasting impact. You become not just the one who talks, but the one who is remembered. You become the voice that echoes long after the conversation is over. Cancer, the nurturer. Cancer, your heart is a fortress of compassion, and no words could capture the depth of the care you carry for the world. You are ruled by the moon, the planet of emotions, intuition, and the ever-changing tides of the human soul. This makes you deeply sensitive, profoundly intuitive, and powerfully protective. You are the zodiac's mother, the one who understands that home is not just a place, but a feeling. When people are near you, they feel safe, they feel understood, they feel loved, sometimes for the very first time. Your gift is your ability to nurture, to wrap others in the warmth of your presence, to create a sanctuary where broken hearts can mend. You heal not only with actions but with your very energy. A glance, a kind word, a gentle gesture from you can restore someone's hope in humanity. You have an instinct for care that cannot be taught. It flows through you as naturally as breathing. You see pain before it's spoken, and you offer comfort before it's requested. You are the keeper of memories, the guardian of traditions, and the soul that reminds others of what truly matters: love, family, belonging. But here lies the challenge. Your fortress, while built to protect, sometimes becomes a prison. In your effort to keep your heart safe, you build walls so high that even you cannot see beyond them. You give and give until you are empty, but when it's time to receive, you retreat. Vulnerability feels dangerous to you, so you hide your own needs, your own fears, your own longing for care. You create homes for others while leaving yourself out in the cold. And over time, this imbalance drains you, leaving you tired, misunderstood, or even resentful. Your true potential awakens when you learn the art of balance, when you understand that giving and receiving are not opposites, but parts of the same cycle. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, so must your heart open and close, give and accept, nurture and be nurtured. When you allow love to flow both ways, you don't lose your strength, you multiply it. You stop being the hidden caretaker and become the radiant source of compassion whose presence heals simply by existing. Think of it this way: the ocean, your elemental symbol, does not fear the tides. It knows that the water that flows out will always return. In the same way, when you allow yourself to be cared for, when you let others pour into you, your energy replenishes, and your nurturing becomes even more powerful. You are not meant to carry the world alone. You are meant to show the world that true strength comes from connection, from mutual support, from love that moves freely in both directions. When you embrace this balance, you become unstoppable. Your home, whether physical or emotional, becomes a sanctuary not just for others but for yourself. Your love transforms from silent sacrifice into joyful abundance. You become not just the nurturer, but the embodiment of unconditional love, a reminder to the world that care is not weakness, but the strongest force we have. And in that moment, Cancer, your potential shines so brightly that no wall could ever contain it. Leo, the creator. Leo, the spotlight naturally finds you, not because you chase it, but because you radiate a light that cannot be ignored. Ruled by the sun itself, you are the living embodiment of warmth, vitality, and creative fire. When you walk into a room, people feel it, not just because of your presence, but because of the energy you carry. There is a certain magnetism in the way you speak, the way you dream, the way you express yourself. You don't just live life, you perform it, whether you intend to or not. Every gesture, every idea, every creation becomes part of your masterpiece. Your gift is to inspire others through boldness and creativity. You are the storyteller who makes ordinary days feel like adventures. You are the artist who transforms simple colors into vibrant paintings of emotion. You are the leader who turns uncertainty into courage, reminding everyone that even in darkness, the sun always rises. This natural brilliance is why people look at you with admiration. It's not just your charisma, it's the way you make them believe that life itself can be brighter. But here lies the truth. Your potential is not about being seen, it's about what you shine on. You can be the brightest star in the sky, but a star alone, no matter how dazzling, is just a point of light. When you use your glow to illuminate others, when your radiance becomes the mirror in which others see their own beauty, you stop being just a star, you become a constellation. And constellations, Leo, are eternal. They tell stories that outlast lifetimes. The danger for you lies in mistaking attention for impact. Yes, the spotlight feels intoxicating, and applause can make your heart race. But if the light shines only on you, it flickers out the moment the curtain falls. True power comes when your light doesn't just reveal you but reveals possibilities in others. When you step beyond the need for validation and step into the role of a creator who uplifts, empowers, and expands the world around you, you step into your highest destiny. Think of your energy as sunlight. The sun doesn't shine to be admired. It shines because that is its nature, and in doing so, it gives life to everything it touches. Flowers bloom, rivers sparkle, children laugh, and forests grow because of that steady warmth. In the same way, your radiance has the power to bring life into people's dreams, to give courage to their voices, and to ignite creativity where there was once only doubt. When you realize this, you stop performing for applause and start creating for transformation. Your true potential is unlocked the moment you stop asking, "How brightly can I shine?" and begin asking, "Whose path can I light?" That is when your leadership becomes undeniable, not because people are dazzled by you, but because they feel stronger in your presence. You move from being admired to being remembered, from being celebrated to being cherished. And that, Leo, is the true gift of the Creator, not simply to burn alone in glory, but to spark countless fires that keep the world alive long after your own spotlight has dimmed. Virgo, the healer. Virgo, your attention to detail is unmatched, and this is not simply a habit, it is your superpower. You are ruled by Mercury, the planet of thought and analysis, but unlike Gemini, who dances with ideas, you refine them, shape them, and polish them into something practical and lasting. You are the one who notices what others overlook, the misplaced word, the broken pattern, the small imbalance that could grow into chaos if left unchecked. This ability makes you a quiet guardian of order in a world that often feels overwhelming. You see what others miss, and you fix what others overlook. To some, this might seem small, but in reality, it is sacred work. You are the healer, not because you hold grand speeches or dramatic gestures, but because you pay attention to the little things that truly matter. A word of advice given at the right time, a correction made before disaster strikes, a gesture of service that restores balance, these are the quiet miracles of Virgo. Where others rush, you pause. Where others ignore, you care. Where others accept flaws, you work gently to mend them. Yet here lies the shadow. Perfectionism can weigh you down. Your gift of detail can become a curse when you begin to believe that nothing is ever good enough, not the world, not others, and not yourself. You hold yourself to impossible standards, correcting, revising, rethinking, until the joy of creation is lost in endless scrutiny. You might tell yourself you are fixing flaws, but sometimes, Virgo, what you are really doing is delaying life. And in this endless pursuit of perfection, you risk missing the beauty of imperfection itself. Your greatest potential is unlocked when you embrace imperfection, not as a flaw, but as the soil where growth happens. Think of nature, which you are so deeply connected to. No flower grows in a straight line, no tree is perfectly symmetrical, no river flows without bends and curves. Yet it is precisely these irregularities that make them beautiful, alive, and real. In the same way, life doesn't need to be flawless to be meaningful. Healing doesn't mean erasing every scar, it means allowing the scars to become part of the story. When you let go of perfectionism, you discover the true depth of your healing gift. You stop trying to control everything and start allowing life to unfold in its raw, messy, and magnificent way. You realize that healing is not about making things perfect, it's about making things whole. It's about restoring balance, not creating flawless symmetry. And when you embrace this, your presence becomes transformative. People don't just see you as the fixer of small problems, they experience you as the healer of hearts, the one who reminds them that they are already enough, even as they grow. Your destiny is not to polish the world until it gleams, but to help the world accept its natural glow. You are meant to take chaos and guide it toward harmony, not through control, but through compassion. You teach that mistakes are not failures but teachers, that flaws are not weaknesses but doorways, and that healing is a journey, not a destination. When you embody this wisdom, you don't just heal others, you heal yourself. You free yourself from the weight of impossible standards and step into the joy of being human, imperfect, evolving, and beautifully alive. And that, Virgo, is where your true potential lies. When you embrace the imperfect, your healing becomes not only effective but truly transformative. You are no longer just the one who corrects, you are the one who elevates, who restores, who brings peace where there was turmoil. That is the power of the healer, not to chase perfection, but to find beauty in imperfection and to turn it into a source of strength for all who cross your path. Libra, the harmonizer. Libra, you were born to bring balance, and this is not just an idea, it is the very air you breathe. You are ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty, love, and harmony, which means you naturally gravitate toward peace, fairness, and connection. You see beauty in symmetry, not only in art or design but also in human relationships and the way life itself unfolds. Where others see conflict, you see the possibility of resolution. Where others focus on division, you search for unity. It's as if your soul carries an invisible set of scales, always seeking to weigh both sides until they stand equal. Your gift is your ability to bring people together, to find the middle ground when no one else can. You are the peacemaker, the diplomat, the bridge builder who refuses to let differences tear people apart. You sense the energy in a room and instinctively know how to soften tension, how to bring warmth where there is coldness, and how to make two opposing forces find common ground. People trust you because you listen not just with your ears but with your heart. You see beyond words into intention, and you use that vision to weave harmony where there was discord. But here lies the shadow of your gift. In your effort to keep everyone else happy, you sometimes lose yourself. You compromise so often that your own desires blur. You bend so much for others that you forget what it feels like to stand tall in your own truth. You may avoid conflict so fiercely that you silence your own voice, believing that peace at any cost is worth the sacrifice. Yet deep inside, there lingers a quiet ache, a longing to be heard, to be seen, to be understood not as a mediator but as you. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it feels to carry everyone else's weight while ignoring your own? That is the burden of Libra when balance tips too far outward. Your true potential is unlocked the moment you realize that harmony does not mean self-erasure. Balance cannot exist if one side of the scale is always empty. To guide others toward peace, you must first stand firmly in your own truth. Your voice matters just as much as the voices you reconcile. Your dreams deserve the same attention as the ones you nurture in others. And your happiness is not a luxury, it is the very foundation upon which you can build authentic harmony. Imagine what happens when you embody this balance. You are no longer just the peacemaker who smooths over tension, you are the leader who shows others that compromise does not mean sacrifice. You become the example of what true harmony looks like, a life where giving and receiving flow equally, where love and truth walk hand in hand, and where peace is not a mask but a genuine reflection of balance within and without. When you step into this higher version of yourself, you stop fearing conflict and begin to embrace it as a necessary path toward deeper understanding. You use your gift not to silence voices but to amplify them in a way that creates unity. And in that moment, Libra, you fulfill your cosmic role, not as the one who hides behind fairness, but as the one who teaches the world that real harmony begins with authenticity. Scorpio, the transformer. Scorpio, your power runs deep, deeper than most people can even imagine. You are ruled by Pluto, the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation, and by Mars, the planet of passion and drive. This dual rulership gives you a profound intensity, a magnetism that others feel even when you remain silent. You are the one who understands life in its rawest, darkest, and most beautiful forms. You are not afraid to look into shadows, because you know that truth is often buried beneath what others fear to face. You carry within you the knowledge that endings are not destruction, but preparation for beginnings. Your gift is your ability to transform, not just yourself, but everyone and everything you touch. You can take pain and turn it into wisdom. You can take loss and turn it into strength. You can take brokenness and reveal the hidden beauty within it. People are drawn to you because they sense this power. They feel that in your presence, they too might survive their deepest struggles, that they too might rise from their own ashes. You are the alchemist of the zodiac, turning darkness into gold. But here lies the shadow of your gift. Your intensity can lead to secrecy and fear of vulnerability. You guard your heart so fiercely that even those closest to you cannot fully enter. You protect yourself with mystery, with walls, with silence, believing that to reveal too much would be dangerous. And sometimes, this secrecy grows into isolation. Your passion, instead of transforming, consumes you from within, creating storms of jealousy, control, or mistrust. Have you ever felt trapped by your own depth, as if your emotions were an ocean you couldn't stop drowning in? That is the Scorpio challenge. The power to transform can easily turn inward, creating self-destruction instead of rebirth. Your potential is fully unlocked when you embrace openness, when you realize that vulnerability is not weakness, but the key to your greatest strength. Transformation is not just about burning down what no longer serves you, it's about allowing others to witness your fire, to stand beside you in both your shadows and your light. When you let down your walls, when you share your story, when you allow others to see not just your power but your tenderness, something miraculous happens. Your transformation inspires others to face their shadows too. Think of the phoenix, your symbol of rebirth. It does not hide its flames. It burns, it falls, it rises, and in its rising, it shows the world that renewal is always possible. You are the phoenix, Scorpio, and your destiny is not to hide in ashes but to blaze so brightly that others remember they too can rise. When you embody this openness, you no longer just survive transformation, you lead it. You become the guide who shows others that death is not an end but a passage, that endings are simply beginnings in disguise, and that the deepest wounds can become the greatest sources of power. You turn pain into purpose, fear into courage, and loss into rebirth. That is the sacred path of the transformer, not just to conquer your own shadows, but to walk others through theirs. And in that moment, Scorpio, your true potential shines. You are not just intense, mysterious, or powerful, you are eternal. The one who proves that no matter how dark the night, the dawn will always come, and that sometimes, the fire we fear the most is the very flame that saves us. Sagittarius, the explorer. Sagittarius, your spirit craves freedom, adventure, and truth, and this is not a passing desire, it is the very lifeblood that runs through your veins. You are ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, wisdom, and fortune. This cosmic influence makes you a seeker of more more experiences, more knowledge, more meaning. You are the eternal traveler, not just of the physical world but of the mind and soul. For you, life is a grand adventure, a journey across landscapes both external and internal. Every horizon calls your name, every question invites you to chase an answer, every unknown is a challenge you cannot resist. You thrive on discovering new horizons. To you, the world is not a fixed map but a living puzzle, waiting to be explored piece by piece. You collect cultures, ideas, philosophies, and experiences like precious gems, tucking them into your soul's backpack as proof that you've truly lived. Others may see you as restless, but in truth, your restlessness is a sacred drive. It's the reason humanity keeps pushing boundaries, keeps exploring new lands, keeps reaching for the stars. You remind us that life is not meant to be confined, that curiosity is a compass worth trusting, and that the search for truth is one of the noblest paths a soul can take. But here lies your challenge. You are so enchanted by the pursuit that sometimes you forget the purpose. Your ideas flow endlessly, your visions stretch across infinite skies, but without grounding, they remain floating, beautiful yet untouchable. You dream of writing a book but get lost in the research. You envision changing the world but hesitate when it comes to structure and follow through. In your rush to chase the next horizon, you may overlook the treasures you've already gathered. Have you ever felt that, despite your many adventures, something was missing, that your wisdom remained scattered, waiting for you to plant it into the soil of reality? That is the Sagittarius dilemma, endless seeking without integration. Your potential grows when you learn to ground your wisdom. When you pause long enough to transform your discoveries into teachings, your experiences into lessons, your journeys into maps that others can follow. The knowledge you collect is not meant to stay inside your heart like souvenirs. It is meant to be shared, applied, and used as guidance. When your ideas are not just explored but also anchored, you become more than a seeker, you become a guide. Imagine this: you, no longer just wandering through life, but standing tall as a beacon for others. You use your stories not as proof of where you've been, but as lanterns to light the way for those who have yet to travel. Your laughter becomes encouragement, your wisdom becomes a roadmap, and your adventures become inspiration. This is the transformation from explorer to teacher, from wanderer to philosopher, from restless soul to wise guide. And the beauty is, you don't lose your freedom in this process. You gain something greater: purpose. Your highest potential lies in the marriage of freedom and responsibility, expansion and grounding, seeking and sharing. When you achieve this balance, you become not only the one who discovers new worlds, but the one who helps humanity understand them. You remind us that truth is not just to be found, it is to be lived. And when you embody this, Sagittarius, you are no longer just chasing horizons, you are expanding them for everyone. Capricorn, the architect. Capricorn, discipline and ambition are your trademarks, and they are not qualities you learned, they are etched into your soul. You are ruled by Saturn, the planet of time, structure, and mastery. This influence makes you the zodiac's builder, the one who understands that great things are not achieved overnight. You know how to climb mountains step by steady step, brick by brick, effort by effort. Where others falter, you persist. Where others dream, you build. Your life is proof that consistency beats luck, that patience creates miracles, and that resilience is the foundation of success. You know how to build empires. You can look at chaos and see blueprints, look at dreams and see strategies, look at obstacles and see opportunities to grow stronger. Your ability to endure makes you a rock in times of storm, someone who others turn to when they need guidance, order, or direction. People admire your discipline not because it is flashy but because it is unshakable. You are the living embodiment of determination, the architect who does not just imagine castles in the sky but finds a way to bring them down to earth, stone by stone, until they stand tall and undeniable. But here lies the shadow of your path. Too much focus on the climb can rob you of joy. You are so committed to the ascent, so consumed by the next goal, the next title, the next achievement, that sometimes you forget to look around and savor the view. You measure success by milestones, by the weight of your responsibilities, by the size of the structures you create. Yet deep inside, there may linger a quiet emptiness, a voice whispering, "Is this all there is?" Have you ever felt that no matter how high you climb, the summit feels just out of reach, and the joy you thought awaited you never quite arrives? That is the Capricorn challenge, building so much that you forget to live inside what you've built. Your potential unfolds when you learn that success isn't only measured by status, but by fulfillment. When you allow yourself to redefine achievement not just in terms of what you've accomplished, but in how deeply you've enjoyed the journey. Imagine combining your discipline with play, your ambition with gratitude, your drive with presence. The result is not a smaller empire, it is a greater legacy. For what is an empire worth if it does not hold happiness within its walls? When you learn this, Capricorn, your life changes. You stop chasing external validation and begin creating a life that nourishes you from within. You realize that laughter with loved ones is just as valuable as titles, that peace of mind is just as worthy as a promotion, that fulfillment is the true currency of legacy. And when you embody this, you don't lose your ambition, you elevate it. Your work stops being just about climbing mountains and starts being about planting gardens along the way, so that those who follow can not only reach the top but enjoy the path. Your destiny is not only to build structures that last but to fill them with meaning. You are meant to be the architect not just of towers and titles, but of a life so balanced, so rich, so fulfilling, that it becomes an inspiration for generations. When you master this lesson, your legacy lasts, not because of the walls you raised, but because of the joy, wisdom, and humanity you left behind within them. Aquarius, the visionary. Aquarius, you're ahead of your time, and this is not a compliment, it is a truth written in the way your mind works, in the way your spirit leans toward horizons others cannot yet see. Ruled by both Saturn, the planet of discipline, and Uranus, the planet of revolution and innovation, you are a paradox of order and chaos, tradition and rebellion, structure and lightning. This dual energy makes you the zodiac's visionary, the one who is not content with what is, because you are forever dreaming of what could be. You see possibilities where others see limits. You look at a wall, and instead of stopping, you start designing a door. You look at society's problems, and instead of despairing, you sketch blueprints for change. You have the rare ability to step outside the present moment, to detach from convention, and to imagine futures that most people don't even realize are possible. To you, progress is not optional, it is the very purpose of life. You carry within you the restless heartbeat of invention, the whisper of revolutions yet to come, the spark of a future the world is not ready for but desperately needs. But here lies your shadow. Detachment can leave you feeling isolated. Because you live so far ahead, the people around you sometimes struggle to understand you. You may feel like an outsider, misunderstood, or even unwanted, as though your brilliance alienates you instead of connects you. In your pursuit of ideals, you can sometimes forget the very human element that binds those ideals to reality. Have you ever noticed how, in your effort to create a better tomorrow, you sometimes pull away from today? That distance, while giving you vision, can also make you lonely. Your true potential shines when you connect your genius to compassion. When you remember that your ideas are not just for the future but for the people who live here and now. Innovation without heart may impress, but it cannot transform. The moment you ground your brilliance in empathy, your visions stop being cold blueprints and become living bridges. You stop being the distant thinker and become the beloved leader, not because your ideas are radical, but because they are human. Imagine this transformation. You, no longer the lone genius with thoughts too big for the room, but the visionary who translates complexity into hope, who takes futuristic ideals and makes them accessible, healing, inspiring. You turn your lightning into lanterns, guiding others step by step toward the future you've already glimpsed. And in this role, Aquarius, you don't lose your originality, you amplify it. Because what is the worth of an idea if it never touches a heart? When you unite your intellect with compassion, you fulfill your true destiny. You become not just the architect of the future but the healer of the present. Your ideas don't just change systems, they change lives. They don't just revolutionize technology, they soften hearts, build communities, and remind humanity of its shared potential. That is the brilliance of the visionary, not simply to dream of a better world, but to love the world enough to build it, piece by piece, hand in hand with others. Pisces, the dreamer. Pisces, you live in a world of imagination, intuition, and deep empathy. It is not that you escape reality, it is that reality itself feels too small to contain the vast oceans of your soul. You are ruled by Neptune, the planet of dreams, mysticism, and transcendence, which means your spirit naturally drifts beyond boundaries, beyond logic, beyond the material. You are the zodiac's poet, the artist, the mystic who reminds humanity that life is not just about what we can touch, but also about what we can feel, believe, and dream. Your gift is to dream beyond boundaries. While others see a locked door, you see a secret garden waiting on the other side. While others are bound by rules, you dissolve them, because you know that love, art, and spirit have no limits. You carry within you the empathy of 1,000 lifetimes, the ability to step into someone else's sorrow and joy, to feel what they feel, and to transform that into compassion. Your imagination is not a distraction, it is the bridge between the mundane and the divine. But here lies your shadow. Sometimes, you escape instead of creating. Your dreams are so vivid, your inner world so beautiful, that you may retreat into them, avoiding the harsh edges of reality. You might lose yourself in fantasy, in illusions, in the comforting fog of someday, rather than anchoring your visions into today. Have you ever felt the ache of unexpressed potential, the knowledge that your heart is full of songs, stories, or creations that the world may never see because you kept them locked inside? That is the Pisces dilemma, infinite imagination without expression. Your true potential awakens when you turn dreams into art, music, or action. When you take the ethereal beauty of your inner world and allow it to spill into reality. Your visions are not meant to remain hidden, they are gifts, waiting to be shared. Each painting, each song, each act of kindness, each piece of wisdom you bring into the world becomes a ripple of magic that spreads farther than you can imagine. You are here not only to dream but to remind others that dreams can be lived. Imagine yourself as a channel, between heaven and earth, between imagination and manifestation. When you trust your intuition enough to create, when you allow your empathy to inspire not only understanding but action, you become more than a dreamer, you become a visionary artist of life itself. Your magic becomes real not because you stop dreaming, but because you honor your dreams enough to give them form. Pisces, when you embody this truth, you are unstoppable. You show humanity that sensitivity is strength, that imagination is a force of creation, and that love is the most powerful tool we have. You remind us that we are not just flesh and bone, we are spirit, connection, and wonder. And in this role, you fulfill your destiny as the dreamer, not as someone lost in illusions, but as the soul who proves that dreams, when lived, can change the world. So, which zodiac sign do you feel is living closest to its highest potential, and which one still has a journey to take? Maybe it's yours, maybe it's someone you love. And if you enjoyed this cosmic roadmap, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more astrological insights, and check out the links in the description for bonus content. The stars may guide us, but remember, the final step is always yours to take. So, which zodiac sign do you feel is living closest to its highest potential, and which one still has a journey to take? This is not just a rhetorical question. It's an invitation to look deeper, not only at the patterns of the cosmos but at the stories playing out inside your own heart. Every zodiac sign carries within it seeds of greatness, the raw material of potential waiting to be shaped, refined, and lived. Some of us are already blooming, already walking boldly in alignment with who we were born to be. Others are still unfolding, still learning the lessons, still peeling back the layers of fear, comfort, or distraction that hold us back. Maybe, as you listened, you felt the resonance of your own sign, like a mirror reflecting both your strengths and your struggles. Maybe you saw yourself in another sign, a friend, a partner, a parent, or even a child, and suddenly understood their journey in a whole new way. Which sign do you feel is closest? Is it the Aries who finally learns patience and channels raw fire into true leadership? The Taurus who finds courage to step beyond comfort and discover a garden bigger than they ever imagined? The Gemini who quiets the noise long enough to let one clear voice carry across the world. Or maybe the Cancer who finally lowers their walls and lets love flow in both directions. Perhaps you saw the Leo who learns that the spotlight is not about being seen but about shining on others, or the Virgo who understands that imperfection is not failure but the soil where real growth takes root. Did Libra's lesson strike you, the need to stand firmly in your truth even as you seek harmony? Or Scorpio's, the courage to let vulnerability become the very key to transformation? Maybe you recognized Sagittarius, the explorer who learns that wisdom is not just in the seeking but in the sharing. Or Capricorn, who understands that joy is as much a part of legacy as achievement. Aquarius, perhaps, stood out to you, with their reminder that compassion is the true anchor for genius. Or Pisces, the dreamer who finally realizes that magic is not only meant to be imagined but also to be lived, breathed, and created. And now I ask you again, which one of these archetypes feels like your present truth? Which one feels like your challenge, your invitation, your next step? Because the zodiac is not just about stars and signs, it's about stories, mirrors, and reminders. Each sign reflects a path that lives in all of us. Even if you were born under one constellation, the lessons of all 12 are alive inside your journey. That means your life is not static, not limited, not defined by a single description. It is dynamic, ever-evolving, and infinitely expansive. Maybe it's yours, maybe it's someone you love, maybe it's the reflection of your partner's growth, the struggles of your best friend, or the potential waiting quietly in your child. Astrology is not about comparison, it's about compassion. It's about seeing the unfolding of each soul with gentleness, with patience, and with awe. When you recognize which sign is closest to its highest potential, you're not judging, you're celebrating. And when you recognize which one still has a journey to take, you're not condemning, you're encouraging. Every unfinished step is not a failure but an invitation. Every shadow is not a punishment but an opening for light. And if you enjoyed this cosmic roadmap, make sure to hit that like button, not just as a gesture of support, but as a way of saying yes to more journeys like this, yes to more exploration, yes to more guidance from the wisdom written in the stars. Subscribe for more astrological insights, because each sign, each planet, each cycle carries lessons we can use in real time, here and now. And check out the links in the description for bonus content, because sometimes the details you seek, the tools you need, the clarity you crave is just one click away. The stars may guide us, but remember, the final step is always yours to take. They can point the way, but they cannot walk the road for you. They can whisper truths, but they cannot force you to listen. They can offer you maps, but they cannot place your feet upon the ground. That choice is yours. That power is yours. That freedom is yours. And maybe that is the most important lesson of all. The universe is not outside of you, it is within you. The constellations in the sky are mirrored by the constellations in your soul. When you move, when you choose, when you step into your highest potential, you are not just following the stars, you are becoming one of them.